Hey everybody! This week we tell you how Esperanza got poisoned while working on our property. You aren't going to want to miss it. We also catch up on the construction of the garage and I show you how I did all the electrical inside. So keep watching and let's get right to it.
We're Douglas and Esperanza. After seeing too many people in our lives taken before they could enjoy their lifetime of hard work, I left my engineering career and we sold our house and most of our belongings. Now we are starting a new adventure, building a resort in the magical town of Loreto in Baja California Sur, Mexico. We're putting everything on the line to make our dreams a reality so that we can live before we die.
Finally, my first bit of construction inside the garage here. So I'm working on putting in the panel. Got the main line that was up here wired into the panel. I'm going to start running conduit out for all the switches and plugs. All right, I'm back working on the electrical and working on this circuit. It's going to come up from the box, come all the way around to here. This will be for the exhaust fan that's up there. Then we're going to come down. This is a switch for an outside light, which will also be on the outside of there. We'll go down to, this will punch out to an outside outlet. This will be a receptacle, then double receptacle, double receptacle, double receptacle. This is going to be the main area of my shop. And so this circuit is just going to service this exhaust fan and the outlet outside and these outlets and the light outside. There's going to be another circuit along this wall. It's pretty much going to be the same. So I've got my electrical plan here. And it shows the different circuits where I'm going to put them. Thought I'd show you this system that I have for doing these boxes inside the garage. There's a couple choices for surface mount boxes like this. There's a PVC type that would be a lot easier because it's got glue fittings on it and everything else, but those are not available down here at all. I'd have to buy them in the US, and when I went to the US they were really expensive. $3 or $4, I think, or $5 for a box, like a 2-gang box like this. And these handy boxes, they call them, which are metal, probably a little more durable, were really inexpensive. And this was like, 60 cents or 50 or 60 cents. These, I think, were still like 80 cents a piece. I didn't want to use metal EMT. It's expensive and it's hard to work with because you got to bend all the corners and everything. And if you've ever done it before, bending EMT can be very frustrating. So I wanted to do the all of the conduit and PVC, use these handy boxes because they're least expensive. So here's what I found, which I don't know if there's a better solution, but this is it. So knock out the knockout, and then I found these little box adapters. How I do this is take this box adapter, I put it in from the inside of the handy box like this, and then you need a coupler, and the coupler, I don't want to put it all the way on here because it doesn't have glue on it and it'll get stuck, but the coupler goes down and you can see here where the fittings put together, and then you can glue a pipe into it. So it's not the best solution, but these fittings are inexpensive, only like 10 cents a piece, 8 cents a piece. These fittings, unfortunately, after I started this, I found out that these fittings are really expensive. I think I've ended up paying almost $1 a piece for these. It was kind of frustrating because this should not be $1 a piece. These should be like 10 cents a piece. I still think this is the most economical way to for me to do this. And I bought all these anyway, so I'm gonna use them. The craziest thing happened yesterday. Esperanza and I were out here. We were moving all these plants that we had saved, and some of them we got from over at the other location when we got the palm trees, and we were planting them around and moving them. These are all native plants. They're all desert plants, which is really good because they won't need to be watered hardly at all when they're planted. And so we want to keep definitely this landscape as low water as possible. And so we were planting these plants right here. Esperanza said, I feel really sick. And she doesn't usually feel sick. She kind of rested a little bit, got the feeling a little bit better, but she was really feeling like she was sick and was going to vomit for a while. And there was no explanation for it. It wasn't food poisoning. We haven't eaten anything or done anything. And so I actually looked up this plant, which is called a slipper plant. And because I was kind of suspicious, because I've actually been poisoned by a plant before when I was working with it, got it on my hands and then got it into my mouth by rubbing my mouth or something, because I was sweating. And then my whole tongue swelled up and it was crazy just from a little tiny bit of this plant. So I looked this up. So this has a sappy, they call it latex. It's a white, sticky, milky kind of sap on it. If you ingest it, it can cause extreme nausea and vomiting. And so I'm pretty sure that yesterday while we were working with this, we both got the sap all over our hands and on us. And I think that Esperanza must have wiped her mouth or done something, got a little bit of this into her mouth, and she got really sick from it. Now she's totally better later that evening. I think everything is passed. And it's not a poison it's going to kill you or anything. Got to be careful. If you don't know what a plant is and you're working with it, be careful. The sap or the flowers or anything, don't get them in your mouth, and try not to get them on your skin unless you know that it's safe. I got the rest of my stuff planted, so I thought I'd show you what we did. The extra plantings here. Slipper plant here. Again, those are super low water. In fact, they grow here. They were growing here on the property with no water for 15 years, and they look beautiful. I mean, they probably don't get flowers unless it rains, but it's a no water plant that you can have with no irrigation whatsoever. Also, it's hard to see, but there's some little agaves all through here. These things are basically indestructible. They're little babies we've gotten from around the neighborhood, and they're indestructible. And we also have an ocotillo start that we got in the US, where they just sell them in the garden stores. We got it from a plant there, and we're going to try to grow some ocotillos here. More little blue agaves. Those all do good. We have a Joshua tree. Here, there's probably 150 miles of highway that you drive down, and all you can see on both sides of the road, as far as you can see, is Joshua trees. So they're not rare down here. More slipper plant, and there's more little agaves around here. The agaves are a good plant for down here because they grow fast, and they don't need any water, and they look really good. I'll show you what we did up here in front. We have the two big cardones, which are going to grow up big like these guys here eventually. And this, where the truck's sitting, is where we're going to have a sculpture that I'm going to do of our mascot for our villa. So And then over on this side, we got a cactus over here that grows the pitaya. This is where this grows the pitaya fruit that they sell in the grocery stores and eat. Another good sized cactus over here. Little furry one here. And I think they call that cholla. Got a cactus on each side here. And a little cholla over there. Another pitaya cactus that grows those over there. These are all really good choices for down here in the desert, because all these cactuses can go with no supplemental irrigation at all, and grow, and then we don't have to worry about wasting water on them. And the same thing really goes for all the palm trees that we planted. People might think, oh, palm trees are going to need a lot of water. The thing is, we're close enough here to the ocean. The ocean's only 600 feet that way. And as you can see, none of these coconut trees are watered. They get all their water from groundwater. And the advantage here is that all three types of palm trees that we planted are very salt tolerant. Coconut trees will literally grow in the water, in the ocean, in the high tide line. Date palms will grow right up to the high tide line, so they could take pure ocean water. And Mexican fan palms will grow pretty close to the tide line also. So here we're close enough to the ocean that during the tides you also get water flow in the aquifer underneath, because this is all sand underneath here. So as the tide goes in and out, water table comes in and out with salt water, and all of these palm trees that we have will all get watered by the ocean. And once we get them through their shock period and established, we won't have to water them probably at all. The intent is to get this landscape set up so that there's very little that needs to be watered. If you're smart about it, you can have an awesome, beautiful, lush looking landscape with very little to no irrigation. So that's the plan. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We've got a lot more going on here. The garage is going up, and we're gonna start on the villa soon. So keep watching. Hit the like button if you haven't. Don't forget to subscribe, and never forget to live before you die.